Teachers in Hagen want an explanation. Another call for PNG to build savings culture. And ENB cops say zero tolerance on armed criminals.
This is National EMTV News with Meriba Tulo.
A very good evening. Thank you for joining us. This is Tuesday's news. Teachers in Mount Hagen are calling on the Teaching Services Commission to explain why they are paying stationery shops to get their pay slips. Different stationery shops are charging fees ranging from 10 to 60 kina for teachers to get their pay slips. Teachers have also found out on their pay slips that they have been double taxed.
Teachers in Mount Hagen are calling on the Teaching Services Commission to explain why they are paying stationery shops to get their pay slips. Different stationaries are charging fees from 10 kina to 60 kina for teachers to get their pay slips. Teachers have also found out on their pay slips that they have been double taxed.
I wonder why is the government is doing this type of activities and engaging all stationaries to collect fees. These are right papers belong, documents belong, all teachers belong, all pay slips belong. How much they are paying? How much they are contributing to this tax?
Some of the teachers told EMTV News that they have given up buying their pay slips. However, with the recent pay cut issue, they have had no choice but to pay for them. Many of the teachers we spoke to told EMTV News that they were surprised to see a deduction of 50 kina on their pay slip listed as recovery deduction.
We have been penalized for nothing without even knowing what we are paying for. So I think there's something fishy going on in the education department.
The teachers say they did not get any loans and they want to know why there is a 50 kina deduction from the salary. An elementary school teacher, Naomi Koyapo, says her gross salary is 500 kina. After a tax deduction of 100 kina, her contributions to a savings account, the 50 kina unknown recovery deduction, and the pay cut, she is left with nothing to bring back home.
Liklik maning kap manem give nem rausim gen lo tax blongem sapasam la rausim lo tax to em lukluk lo a net no gross blom plan nem by rausim na disla recovery deduction em mino katom la loan lo disla so why also rausim em must almost explain him lo mibla.
The teachers say they now feel that while they are doing the best to educate children, they will not be looked after by the government. Some are already planning to retire from the profession earlier than they thought because they are not seeing the value in working for nothing. Vasinata Yama, National EMTV News, Mount Hagen.
38 teachers of Medang's Kusbah Primary School have also experienced unexplained deductions to their salaries in pay periods 18, 19 and 20. Head teacher Mrs. Henrika Atua says most of the teachers were not able to go to school as they do not have bus fare or even any money to sustain them for 2 weeks.
Kusbah Primary in Medang is a level 8 primary school with more than 1,000 students and 45 teachers. The recent unexplained deductions made to the teachers' salaries has affected 38 teachers out of the 45.
I believe this pay cut has affected most of my teachers. In fact, I'm one of them. This 200 kina pay cut, leaving a lot of teachers with 25 toya, 70 toya left as their net in their account. So, firstly, we were not made aware of this pay cut. All we were aware of was that we were going to have an increased payment of 30%, and that's what the teachers have been looking forward to. But instead, it happened to be a deduction of 200 kina from each of our pay. So like most of my teachers, like it was a slap on the face, especially those single parent with credits to settle, food for the family, bus fare to go to and fro to work.
I think the other teachers are also in there. With the pay 18, 200 kina was cut off from my pay. And then it was reimbursed, whether reimbursed or it was just cut. And the next payday, I went back to normal. The normal without the increment.
Mrs. Atua says they were not made aware of the pay cuts and the reason behind why they are making deductions or where the money deducted is going to. Teachers have to pay 3 kina to collect their pay slips. Many of the teachers we spoke to say the pay slips are from last 5 fortnights ago and not the recent.
We usually collect our pay slips 5 fortnights late. And so it's very hard to know how much is been deducted on that payday. If we want the pay slips for that fortnight, we have to wait for another how many weeks so that we are able to collect the pay slips for that week.
One of the teachers didn't get paid at all. They are looking forward to the grade 8 national examinations this month despite experiencing pay cuts. Martha Louise, National EMTV News, Madang.
Following reports of teachers' pay cuts in recent weeks, we have been speaking to teachers who have been personally affected. Last week, we featured the story of one teacher who was paid only 7 kina in lei. Today, we spoke to another teacher from Omili Primary School who was only paid 10 kina. Lima John says it has been a difficult time for her family.
Lima John is a grade 6 teacher at the Omili Primary School in Lei. She is a mother of 4 and has been teaching for 9 years. Her pay was cut twice in pay 18 and 20. For pay 20, she only received 10 kina.
Me misakis him after the other deductions. Misakis him 200 plus, and then this 200 or cut him. 10 kina was left. La count me.
Miss John rents a house for 300 kina, which has been outstanding because of the pay cut. It has affected her young family because she is the only one who provides for them.
And then my small kids, the first and second one, to Pasagol Elementary School, with to plan them lunch money, and so they are going without food to school.
More than 100 teachers in Lei have raised similar concerns, with 100 to 300 kina being cut from their pay. They are demanding answers from the authorities to tell them what is happening to their pay.
Until now, I am not sure where that money has gone to and why my pay is cut.
Miss John is hoping her pay returns to normal come the next fortnight so she can provide for her family. Lucy Kopana, National EMTV News, Lei.
John Suenu is a teacher at Gantom Primary School in Lei. He has been teaching for the past 42 years and is a father of 4. He is one of more than 100 teachers in Lei who have been getting pay cuts for the past 3 fortnights. Last fortnight, he was paid only 50 kina. He said this is the first time he has experienced this during his teaching career, saying this has really affected his family.
With this pay cut, as human beings, we need the money to live on. And when the pay was cut, it really affected my family. We had budgets. I had kids in school. Kids, mainly they were big, and they were going to school to and fro. They need bus fares. I also needed bus fare to come to work and go back, and all this. And we were really hit. And I would say we tried our utmost best to find ways to get ourselves back to normal. But in a place like this, in the city, it is very, very hard.
A teacher in a remote school in Bulolo district came forward today saying all 5 teachers teaching at the Geni Primary School reported pay cuts to their salaries for the last 3 fortnights. Han Siwang said 300 kina was removed from his pay between pay periods 18 to 20. Siwang said 900 kina deducted from his salary is too much. He is currently in Lei to sort out the issue with the Morabe Education Division.
We come out of town, purposely we come out of town and we come out of checking more pay because we plan no network to a problem up. So we are taking one whole day, low time Owen Stanley Range, local sample layer, location network now, then we access out to information. So we start school, we place no network, so we start go na. Lately we come out finding myself. We got deduction the pay them. This we are yet to confirm because all in terms of provincial office salary all no give me play yet because plan the teacher go same problem. We plakam na all kat kain all lost plol to putim la mas film sample release car sample release paper form kam. This like making me bla true lo slakan time lo are misla work pun logo begin. So now we plus stop. Tomorrow Tuesday test them consultation day, so I'm picking paper now. By then I'm looking. I'm asked to crowdsourcing to pay, but from rumors we are that 300 kina crowdsourcing to pay bla. Now I'm serious to pay, so I'm confirm through law. Pay slip bla.
A portion of outstanding employer contributions owed by the national government to Number One Super have been paid in recent months, which is welcome news for retired public servants. Number One Super CEO Paul Seah made this known when speaking to EMTV News recently. Mr. Seah was in Buin to address the National Finance Managers Conference. He also spoke on the importance of building a savings culture.
That have come through. Some of those
The CEO of Number One Super was in Buin for the National Finance Managers Conference and addressed participants. He encouraged them to start promoting a savings culture for their staff at the district and provincial level. This, he said, was crucial to ensuring that their savings reaped more benefits from Number One Super's range of investments across many industries in Papua New Guinea.
One of the things that a super fund actually does for its members is actually pool all their funds together, and what we're able to do is actually invest back into the economy. And many people don't actually understand the sorts of businesses that we help invest into that drives the economy. So things like our Paradise investment, things like the investment into the banks and into SP Brewery. Many members don't actually understand that they are part owners of those particular businesses. So it's a good message to be able to talk to our members about what's happening in the economy, what's happening with their businesses, and how we protect and look after their long-term savings.
Seah also used the opportunity to promote the voluntary contributions product for employees and contributors to Number One Super.
People don't understand that investing over a long period of time actually creates a lot of wealth for that individual. So voluntary contributions is a product where members can put a small amount aside in addition to their normal contributions and watch it grow over that long period of time. So we've certainly been campaigning to members, and today was another opportunity for members to really understand the importance and the power that interest over long periods of time generates for them.
With the national government, the largest employer contributor to the Super Fund, the government's efforts in paying outstanding employer contributions was noted, with the fund now in receipt of payments to the month of May this year.
Government has been forthcoming with paying some of the funds across to us, which has meant that we've been able to release monies to members, and at the moment we're trying to find all members who have an unfunded amount, who hasn't been in contact with us up to the 31st of December 2016. I expect that we will shortly be asking for members up to the 31st of May 2017 to come forward, and those members should be watching the Post and the National for our advertisements to come forward when we actually are ready to make the payments to those particular members.
With Buin in South Bougainville increasingly becoming the economic hub of the autonomous region, Number One Super believes there is potential to grow its business here and get more people into the savings culture, which will benefit them in the long run.
Well, certainly Buin and a lot of the Bougainville areas, it's an opportunity that you see for us to work with the particular members that are here. Obviously the police, the education, the health workers are here and they're part of our fund. Hopefully that the area continues to prosper and develop, and I think one of the nice things about coming here with the finance group has really been around bringing more people to see what's actually the potential here.
Representatives from the national government and the autonomous Bougainville government will reconvene in Port Moresby this week for a special joint supervisory body meeting. Among agendas to be discussed will be the question or questions to be put to the people of Bougainville in a referendum in 2019. According to Bougainville Regional MP Joe Lera, the questions must be framed in a way that complies with both the organic law and Bougainville's constitution.
The working teams from both governments are currently working very hard to try and frame the question, because lately they discovered that the organic law does not allow the question of self-determination. But the ABC law does. So the officials are now trying to tailor and find answers to that constitutional issue, so it can be easy to frame the question.
Air Niugini says they want to reassure the flying public that safety is always paramount in their service delivery. The airline company released a media statement on the repatriation of the passenger from Indonesia who was the only casualty from the Chuk crash. His casket left Port Moresby for Singapore yesterday afternoon before being airlifted to Indonesia.
Late Eko Cahayanto Singhi's body is finally on its way to his family in Java, Indonesia, says Air Niugini. In a media statement yesterday, Air Niugini said a specialist team brought in by the airline will accompany the body throughout the entire repatriation journey. Initially, Federated States of Micronesia investigator in charge, Macy Halbert, had confirmed last Sunday that his body had been flown into Port Moresby.
And Air Niugini is arranging for the repatriation of the body later on this week.
Yesterday, Air Niugini said the casket was met by Air Niugini representatives upon arriving at Jackson's International and was taken into a funeral home. The following day, the casket of late Eko Cahayanto Singhi was put on an Air Niugini service to Singapore, then on to Indonesia, where he will be laid to rest in his home village in Java. But the question of why the Indonesian was not accounted for has been an ongoing debate of the crew's responsibility. EMTV News confirmed with the FSM IIC that his body was found on the plane.
Body was recovered inside the aircraft, inside the body airframe.
Meanwhile, Air Niugini also said that as a member of the International Air Transport Association for the last 9 years, it has been a part of the operation safety audits. And in keeping with the objectives of these operation safety audits, following the accident, Air Niugini has undertaken a full risk assessment review of the Chuk to Pohnpei route. The company says, in completion of the safety review, flights will continue using both Boeing and Fokker aircrafts. Adelaide Xerox Kari, National EMTV News.
You're watching National EMTV News this Tuesday. We go for our first break, but stay tuned. We'll have more of the day's stories when we come back. Welcome back to the news. Port Moresby police are still collecting information on the recent escape of Tommy Baker, who the police have labelled the most notorious criminal in the southern region. Baker escaped from correctional officers' custody at Port Moresby General Hospital on October the 2nd. On September the 28th, he had complained of a toothache and was taken to the hospital, where he subsequently escaped. Baker is wanted for a string of crimes in Milne Bay, Northern and Central provinces. These include the ATM robbery in Alota, numerous sea piracy cases resulting in murder, and the Jackson's airport robbery in 2017.
Escape of the notorious criminal, Tommy Baker. We're still searching for him. We got a couple of leads, but he has not led us to the being successful, so we continue on that one. And I appeal to the public who are harboring him. It's also an offense. If you continue to harbor him, we need him to be behind the bars. He was taken to Pom jail, and some hours later, he was not picked up early, and then eventually, with the lone guard, a vehicle came up. I think he's whoever that assisted him came up and picked him up, and he's gone from there. And we got a couple of we got a message late, about 30 minutes later, and it was difficult for us to trace that one because the description of the vehicle was not given to us properly. And like I said, our investigation is ongoing.
Community advocacy group Act Now says the establishment of an interim ICAC is an insult to the nation and an abuse of the ICAC powers. ICAC must be independent from government and free from any political interference. In a statement, the NGO group says the government's pledge to establish an ICAC since 2012 was politically driven to investigate political opponents. Act Now says it is not even clear whether there is any legal basis for an interim ICAC or whether its investigations will have any legal validity. Act Now is also urging the Department of Justice and the Attorney General to release its draft ICAC bill for proper scrutiny and public consultation. It is over 10 years since Papua New Guinea ratified the United Nations Convention Against Corruption. The peaceful towns of Kokopo and Rugby have experienced an upsurge in armed robberies in recent weeks. The most recent was last Friday, where 4 armed men were intercepted and gunned down by police in a failed robbery. Following last Friday's incident, East Newport Police Boss Senior Inspector Joseph Tabali has sent a strong warning to criminals to stop armed robberies as the consequences will be severe.
These pictures posted on social media by witnesses shows the gunfight between criminals and police in a recent failed armed robbery in Rabaul town. At 10 a.m. last Friday, 4 men were dropped off by a vehicle at the Garden Enterprise supermarket. They were in possession of 2 homemade guns. According to police, the men were distracted by a police patrol just as they were entering the shop. The 4 men retaliated and started firing at the police.
That incident on Friday is supposed to happen on test day, but it did not eventuate on test day. And the next day, Friday, that incident happened. We got some tip-off that it will happen, and we were looking forward to it, and then it happened. It happened, not on Thursday, but it happened last week Friday.
The confrontation lasted for a few minutes, left 2 of them dead and 2 others wounded and hospitalized. The police believe all 4 men are of East Newbiton origin. In the hours after the incident, the head of the East Newbiton Police, Senior Inspector Joseph Tabali, sent a strong message to criminals, warning them to stop armed robberies or accept the consequences.
Police were shot at. That's why police have to retaliate. Okay. During the exchange of gunshot, 2 suspects were killed. Okay. We are not there to kill people. No, we are there to protect people.
Friday's failed robbery came a month following a series of armed hold-ups that hit the town of Kokopo. The once peaceful town is seeing an upsurge in serious crimes, particularly armed robbery. All eyes are now on the police to curb the crime spike. Last Friday's incident isn't the first and it won't be the last. The police described it as deadly, ruthless, and for the robbers, a very unfortunate ending. It's not known if there's any larger group behind the robbers, but the police believe there are other similar gangs that are ready to strike anytime. But the question is when and where.
I am now appealing to the criminal gangs, the only form of the group long gang, like Tramatekim or business houses. I'm giving them strong warning. We are on alert, okay? We are working together with the ward members, the ward councillors, the community leaders.
Edwin Fidelis, National EMTV News, Kokopo.
Police officers at one of Port Moresby's busiest police stations continue to lack logistical support. It's been this way for more than a year. Policemen and women serving at Gordon's police station do not have a vehicle to carry out daily police operations. City residents turn up at the station to lay a complaint, often spend the whole day at the station waiting for the suspects to arrive. Others give up on seeking justice and return home.
The Gordon's police station provides law and order services to at least 30,000 city residents living in the 9 Mile area, right through 5 Mile, Gordon's 5, and the residential area towards the government offices at Waigani. However, the lack of a police vehicle in the last 18 months has delayed police operations for officers stationed at Gordon's.
They don't have any police vehicle at the moment. We need vehicle to pick up policemen to come to work. When we don't have a vehicle, how do they come to work? Hence, it's contributing to the increase in crimes around Gordon's area.
A police vehicle is an important resource for the police force. It is used to pick up officers for duties and is also needed to pick up suspects accused of an offense. The absence of a police vehicle makes it more challenging for officers to conduct their duties or reporting to work.
My plan can only work if we have support from, with resources, and one of them is vehicle. A police station, a minimum must have 5 vehicles to do the job. Goris doesn't have it. They have vehicles in the workshop the last 8 months.
Meanwhile, the Waigani police station also lacks a vehicle. It has been 2 months now.
Waigani police station doesn't have a vehicle as well. So 2 of those police centers we don't have the vehicle are having difficulty. We are having difficulties trying to manage crime there.
Thekla Gunga, National EMTV News.
Yanguru Sausia MP Richard Maru has launched the construction of another junior high school in Winge, West Yanguru. Once completed, this project will provide education for students in West Yanguru LLG and Yamil Tamuai LLG in the nearby Maprik district. This is the second construction of a junior high school in the district, and the local MP has given contractors 4 months to complete the buildings.
Winge is in the West Yanguru LLG and shares district borders with Yamil Tamawi LLG in the nearby Maprik district. It does not have an education institution which provides education for grades 9 and 10 students. Since independence, students have been seeking education opportunities from other LLGs or nearby districts. The establishment of this high school comes as welcoming news for the Winge community. In appreciation of the start of this service, the largest yam in Winge and a headdress were presented to the local MP.
Alright, Miblo go as far as Ambudi, Miblo go long all get a schools long province lo pining space lo put him all picking Miblo Mibla. Taso lensa Mibla kissing, only talking Mibla Sam. You wait. Suppose you got space, make kissing you. Suppose no got, sorry, go back. Because I need law reform and time now you West Yanguru, you yet must get high school.
Building materials include bricks, bags of cement and iron posts have arrived, and construction will be carried out by the East Sepik Provincial Works Department. 4 months have been given to complete the 4-in-1 classrooms and 4 teachers' houses.
But like in 4 classroom, 4 staff house, I want to put in an admin building. Now me like staff room 2 must stop, na library must stop. So on top of initial funding belong 4 classroom, now 4 staff house, I will make sure there's additional funding now yet so that we can put in 1 staff house, 1 staff room, now 1 library 2 must have high school from the start.
Winge Junior High, though it is yet to be registered under the Education Department, it will be taking in at least 120 grade 9 students next year. Thekla Gunga, National EMTV News.
The PNG Science and Technology Council, with research leaders of universities and research institutions in the country, today met to discuss issues around research in Papua New Guinea. A small but significant meeting at the International Convention Centre saw members presenting different ideas and challenges faced in research, science and technology. PNG STC Chairman and CEO Professor Teotulohi Matainaho says research is vital for the country's development.
In many developing economies, investment in research and innovation has resulted in new knowledge, ideas and discoveries in different sectors. PNG Science and Technology Council Chairman and CEO Professor Teotulohi Matainaho says the meeting with the team Science and Technology for a secure, inclusive and sustainable, prosperous PNG, the meeting aims at addressing some major issues in the country.
There may be health issues, there may be agricultural issues, environmental issues, resource-based issues, even civility issues, issues with climate change that we all, talk about and so forth. So these are the things that we want to have conversation about, particularly as to what we are doing in research in the country. Often I think there is a lack of this interaction with research leaders.
Professor Matainaho says funding is one of the main challenges that most research programs in universities face. He said they receive little or no funding from the government and most of their research programs are funded by the universities. PNG University of Technology and University of Goroka are some universities that face funding problems. Professor Matainaho says this dialogue will help identify some of the key challenges and advise the government on research, science and technology matters.
Is how we can actually work with the government to address funding issues for science in this country, as well as how to best focus our resources on some of the things that we need to do in order to improve policy, to come up with solutions that we can start to really see the impact of research in the country.
The one-day event had research leaders of different institutions sharing research programs and activities in their institutions and discussions on policies updates of the PNG Science and Technology Council. The PNG Science and Technology Council is responsible for managing the development and coordination of research programs in the country. Rayon Lakingu, National EMTV News.
This is Tuesday's news. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back with more after these messages. Welcome back to National EMTV News. Landowner fractions in Pogera mine operation have questioned the recent mine warden hearing in Paya. They say the Mineral Resource Authority must follow procedures with proper consultation with landowners before a final decision for the exploration license is granted. The leaders say developer Barrick has not done enough in elevating the lives of people, but has caused destruction and pain to the people and environment.
Late last month, officials from the Mineral Resource Authority, State, Enga Provincial Government, Barrick and landowners came together for the mine warden hearing. Landowners expressed their dissatisfaction and agreed on the other, however the majority went against developer Barrick. Leaders say it was for a reason. Developer Barrick has not delivered commitments signed in the agreement despite extracting gold.
Water supply for people in Bougainville, house for Bougainville, garden Bougainville, all BC lo come out in gold, now stealing gold from me. Now, me papa from gold, yeah, only no lugar in me. Also, now, 10 years in Mr. Bougainville, me like a company out of area from me.
For these landowners who are from the SML areas, they say the developer has not heard their cry. They want the company to be true to their word.
Non-given people are, lo kadri sawe, bull sawe, talk honest. You install one time, 1 minute, 1 day, what happened? You know sawe, you don't give up.
When MTV visited a village not far from the mine's pit, communities relatively live a simple life depending much on farming. It was also visible with a large portion of waste dumped next to the village.
People are checking the two-year license. So, environment law, background, people problem this place.
Last 10 years, we studying you. From under we go down to toast, we studying you finish. You know people company. You know do what you mean. You know, I don't talk to you know this is why he blow me. This is why I'm entertaining you.
The current exploration license used by Barrick will expire in early 2019. The mine warden hearing was to grasp landowners' concerns. MRA will now write a report before a committee decides. Landowners want a fair consideration for a better living with commitments agreed on to be fulfilled.
Landowners only the right law is a proper explanation, proper advice, legal advice. But the way I'm treating all on La Fayam,
Manual hearing last week Thursday and any controversial suspicious too.
MRA and Barrick are yet to make an official statement regarding last month's mine warden hearing. Jack Lepave Jr. National EMTV News.
The NCD Electoral Commission has implemented the electronic voting system, or EVS, for counting of the Motukoita chairperson seat. According to returning officer Terence Hetinu, the system is only used during recounts when ordered by the courts. Mr. Hetinu believes the system will turn away doubts and lessen disruptions during the counting process. The electronic voting system will go through a process of first being sorted out manually by sorters. Then the ballot papers will go through the electronic system where it will verify and record the ballot paper and then record the serial number and the preferences. For the Motukoita elections, the LPV system was used. Mr. Hetinu also announced that counting for the women representatives will be done after the counting for ward councillors. To take us to Trukai Sports, heavy sanctions await the man at the center of one of the ugliest moments in American sporting history. Habib Nurmagomedov had just beaten Irish superstar Conor McGregor in a UFC 229 in Las Vegas. Then the Russian leapt out of the octagon, and it's the brawl that followed that has left the sport in disgrace.
And now Khabib jumps the fence. Whoa! And he's going right at Dylan Dennis. Mayhem!
It's like a scene out of professional wrestling, only this isn't fake and it's definitely not professional.
Oh! And now one of Nurmagomedov's teammates throws a right hand at Conor. All hell has broken loose!
The man who started it all, the winner of the fight, Habib Nurmagomedov, who attacked one of Conor McGregor's coaches.
I know this is not my best side.
If I put this belt on you, everybody's going to start throwing into the octagon.
Nurmagomedov was ushered from the scene surrounded by local police.
This is going to spill out onto the streets.
And it did. Police kept busy trying to maintain control of angry fans. The incident's been compared to some of the most disgraceful moments in American sport, an NBA brawl known as the Malice in the Palace in 2004 and the aftermath of Mike Tyson's infamous ear-biting fight with Evander Holyfield in 1997. Tyson himself described last night's events as unimaginable. Never thought it would go down like this, crazier than my fight riot. The sport in disgrace, but Nurmagomedov's action earned praise from Russian President Vladimir Putin.
He just called me and he said he was very proud of me. I win, and he said congratulations.
3 members of Nurmagomedov's team were arrested for their attack on McGregor, the latest explosive development in a long-running feud between the two camps. In April, McGregor was charged with assault and criminal mischief following an attack on a bus carrying his rival. But it's Nurmagomedov in trouble this time.
Can these guys get visas and get back in the country? You know what I mean? And I mean Habib.
McGregor posted on Instagram, "I'll be back," and took to Twitter to say, "Good knock, looking forward to the rematch." But it could be a long wait for another official meeting in the octagon.
And on that note, we go for a break and come back with some sporting updates in Trukai Sports. Don't go away.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome to Trukai Sports. We begin with football. The suspension of 7 PNGFA member associations has been lifted. The 7 associations broke away from the federation in 2016 following infighting over the affairs of the PNGFA. The decision to lift the suspension was made after PNGFA acting president John Wesley Gonjuan met with president of Hekari Soccer Association John Capinato last month.
An MOU was signed on August 31st between both parties to have a number of tasks completed. The 2 most important tasks were the lifting of the suspension of the 7 member associations and for members who left PNGFA to cease all activities under the banner of Football Federation of PNG. PNGFA, through the Secretary's office, informed the associations of Bougainville Football Federation, Hekari Soccer Association, Kaupa Soccer Association, Lay Football Association, Manu Soccer Association, Mendi Soccer Association and Wabek Soccer Association on Monday the 10th of September of the lifting of their suspensions. While the rest of the tasks outlined in the MOU are ongoing events, these two important tasks signal a new chapter for PNGFA. The Executive Committee has acknowledged the efforts of PNGFA Acting President John Wesley Konjuan in finding an agreeable solution with John Kapinatu to bring both federations together. Though this is the first step in resolving issues, there is still a lot more work to be done in gaining the confidence of the public, business houses and the government. FIFA has given its authorization to have the Congress on Saturday 27th of October in Port Moresby. This Congress should provide the motivation to end the split among member associations and get all affiliates to administer football under PNGFA. The election of a new president will also be held at the Congress. Elijah Levet, National EMTV Sports.
To Rugby League now, in the PNG Under-23 Residents 18-member squad was named this afternoon at the National Football Stadium. PNG will take on New South Wales Under-23 team this Sunday at the NFS. Assistant coach Glenn Nami says the team has been preparing well over the past week.
Good, strong ruck, winning the ruck is our main goal at the moment. So, but all in all, our preparation has been good. We got next couple of days to, tidy up a couple of stuff, but we're confident in our preparation and the way, the coach is going and everything's going at the moment. So, everything coming from Australia, they're definitely a strong side, but our preparation all throughout the week has been good, and looking forward to a good challenge on the weekend. We have a good, strong half pairing at the moment. It's Edwin Ipape and Mark Tony, but we got Nicky on the bench to fill, especially in the hooker and halfback role. So at the moment we have we're confident in the halves and the hooker at the moment. So we know these are going forward in our organisation. So we, like I said earlier, we're confident our halves can take us forward.
You're watching Trukai Sports. We'll be back with more after these messages. Stay tuned.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome back to Trukai Sports. To powerlifting now, and after successfully ending the National Powerlifting Championships in Port Moresby, President Michael Kingston says the next event is the Oceania Powerlifting Championships on the Gold Coast next month. He says after witnessing a lot of great talent come through to compete at the National Championships, it has become a difficult task to select a team for the Oceania Championships, but he is confident PNG Powerlifting will take its best to the Gold Coast.
Despite missing out on participating at last year's World Championships in Canada, PNG Powerlifting Federation is currently under preparations to send its best powerlifters to attend the Oceania Championships in Gold Coast. President Michael Kingston says PNG has always maintained its performance in all international fixtures, and this year's appearance at the Oceania Championships will be no different.
So I still maintain, Papua New Guineans are born strong. All we need is the opportunity for these young people to train and develop themselves. So it's a great pleasure for me to see the efforts of the last 3 years bearing fruit and delivering the results. And my goal come the Pacific Games is to either repeat our success from 2015, where every athlete won a medal, but preferably to do even better and maybe to win every weight class. That would be the ultimate.
A number of new talents are expected to debut in the Oceania Championships come November.
So we took the opportunity at the same time to invite some trainers from Australia to come and train our referees, and also some coaches to help coach our athletes, so that we can improve the standard of our refereeing and also the technique and skills of our athletes in preparation for the Pacific Games.
Meanwhile, he says both the Oceania and Asian Championships will be used to make selections for next year's Pacific Games, where a total of 15 athletes will be selected to represent PNG at next year's Pacific Games in Samoa.
So our goal is to get the best lifters from all over the country in one place to challenge for the title of national champion and for the right to represent PNG at international competition. At Pacific Games, the cap is 15 athletes, one for each weight class. So altogether we have 8 weight classes for the men and 7 for the women. So we want to pick the best for each weight class to represent PNG.
Godwin Eki, National MTV Sports.
That wraps up Trukai Sports for this evening. We go for a quick break and be back with the weather details for the next 24 hours.
Trukai Sports. Trukai Sports.
The weather details were proudly brought to you by Dulux, celebrating 50 years in PNG and the only paint made in PNG.
A look at the weather forecast for the next 24 hours. In the southern region, fine weather expected in Daru and Kerma, mostly fine for Port Moresby, fine and sunny for Alotau, becoming cloudy for Popondetta. To the Momasa region, fine becoming cloudy for Lae, fine and sunny for Madang, cloudy with some showers expected in Wau, Wewak and Vanimore. To the New Guinea Islands region, some showers expected in Lorangau and Buka, cloudy with a chance of showers for Kavieng, Kokopo, Rabaul and Kimbe. And in the Highlands region, all the major centres, Mount Hagen, Goroka, Kundia, Mendi and Wabe can expect a few showers over the next 24 hours.
The weather details were proudly brought to you by Dulux, celebrating 50 years in PNG and the only paint made in PNG.
And that's the news, sport and weather for today, Tuesday, the 9th of October 2018. On behalf of the entire MTV News team from right around the country, pleasant viewing. Good night.